Okay, now I'm going to show you how you can improve on the growth throughout its age. Not only does the breeds rescale based on your settings throughout its lifespan, for example, something along this lines, but let's say a baby goat, it doesn't come out with horns or a beard. So I created a just 4 different series of breeds here, starting off with the baby, and then later in adolescence, as it gets into a young adult, and then a full-grown adult. We have the different size of the horns and the beards, as you can see. What we need to do to set this up is we're going to use prim animation methods and a filter to determine its age, and go from there to apply the different the different horns, sizes, and the beards. Okay, so what we need to do is first create the 4 sequences and make them all the same size as the baby, the offspring that is received by the next owner. So when you're selling a a parent, or having a child breed, they all need to be the same size, so that when the prim animations are toggled, they all have the starter size. They can have different ages, and this can be different sizes, because the prim animations will compensate for the growth that's already occurred, whether it's rebuilt or it's a fresh res, well, resold or whatnot. It will have the proportionate prim animation for the growth of the object. So that means any accessories that you create will automatically resize to the current size of the breed based on its growth stages. That's why you always start off with your the same size breed, the child breed. Now it really helps that when you're doing this, that they're either unscripted or you disable growth, because you don't want growth to occur while you're setting up these animations. So these 3 are actually unscripted. This one here is going to be the final product. We don't need to save any parameters for its beard or its horns. If you can see, I've hidden them inside, so they won't be used when they're first born. They'll just be there ready to be used for later on. So we'll start off by getting the parameters of the horn and the beard for the next stage, and we're going to just use the touch params script to get that information. And I might as well drop that in all of these. And the first thing I need to do is to make sure that there is a breed created. So we need to set the channel. Let's just random numbers, right? We want to turn debug mode to false, so that it connects to the web server for the prim animations. And then I'll just enter my my name here. Everything else is fine by default. Growth is disabled, so I just double check and make sure that this is 0. Now we have a breed that's going to connect to the web server. So I could flash over to the web server, and under the My Species section of My Eco Breeds, we'll just click it to refresh the values, and there we have undefined, which I will call it goat. And you can supply your skins here, but we're just going to work on prim animations for this. And the prim animations will start with child. These will both be 0, but by default they'll fill in as 0. Let me move this out of the way so we can see what we're doing a little better. We will put in the prim animations for the very first object. So we want to get the beard, and the beard is prim number 11. We have to note that what its size, position, rotation is. Nothing else will be changed. It will be the same prim, type, texture, and color. The rest can be set. Let's say if you want to do skins that use textures and colors, you can always change the color of these objects using the skins, and this way we're not interfering with the prim animations, which we'll need these three. We have size, position, and rotation. So for the animation, we'll have size, position, rotation, and then we're going to get both the horns, because this is all one package. So go back into here, and we'll touch the horn, both of them, and we'll get the size, position, and rotation of the one horn, paste that, and then we'll get the size, position, and rotation of the other horn. Not this. We need to go here. And so there we have a complete horn and beard for the child animation. And it's only setting the parameter once. This isn't an animation where it's sequential, so of course there's no repeater delay. So I save that, and now we're going to create a new one, and we'll call this teen. And we'll go into here, and we'll get the beard, and we'll copy and paste the beard over. And then we'll go back and get both the horns. So now the teen is saved. And then we'll create another one, which at this point is just the adult. So we'll then define this as adult. And we'll get its beard first. And then both horns. And you can always do more if you'd like, to make it more natural of a feel. But as it ages, we'll just apply the child, teen, and then the adult. Okay, so let's go back into here, and we'll start to configure our breed. Okay, so we have no use for the others now. They were just to help us get started, so I'll delete these. And I'm going to make a rough estimate to how large the object's going to grow. So we have the name is defined, the move is fine, the lifespan, we're going to want it to grow to 20 years old, minimum and maximum, so it always reaches 20. We'll have let's do 10 growth stages, where it grows maybe 10% with each increment. So over the course of its life, it'll wind up growing roughly double in size. We could do and I say roughly because this would apply 10% growth on top of what its current stage is for every stage. So we would also, maybe let's just do let's make it more obvious, and I don't. Yeah, that would be fine. That way it just is quick enough for our tutorial, and I'm not keeping you hanging on too long. I don't want it to eat or to breed or to have any skins at this point, so this should be sufficient. So now all we need for this is to create an action object with the same channel, which you'll find in your eco package, and that will have to have the matching channel. So we'll do, we don't need it to be rebuilding or breeding or food level at this point. What we need to do is create an action class list that, based on its age, and I'm going to take a copy of this because once I start to supply the parameters, it will begin to show its horn and beard. But as you can see at this point, there is neither. So what we're going to need to do to define these the way we want would be, we would have to start off with a bind timer for every minute, which is 60 seconds, and we would want to check the age. So we'll just make a callback called age check. And in fact, let me display its age as well. So we have the my age expression, and so every 60 seconds from its start params, it will call the age check event, which will do a filter. And in this filter, we're going to want to supply the my age. So if my age is if my age equals 1, in this case, we'll want it to restart itself from the beginning. I'll re-res the object. But when my age equals 1, it will add a we can set the child animation. So it only does it once. When the filter is run and my age equals 1, it will pass this, and it will set the child horn set. Okay, and if it's not, we will do we'll do not 1. Of course, you can always make it so that when it's ages higher and whatnot, you could change this to replicate how you want, but we want it to go quick for this tutorial. So when not 1, we're going to run another filter, and if my age equals 2, if it's not 2, we'll have it call back to another method, another event called not 2, but we'll set teen. Okay, then from there we're gonna just essentially let's copy and paste this here and do the same for adult, and we don't need a callback for that. So on the start, it binds the age checker. When the age check comes through, it'll filter. If its age is 1, it'll set that. It will set the child animation. If not 1, it'll try 2, and make sure we supply the right amounts here. So, but after 3, it will no longer grow any horns or anything, so we won't need to do that. Now let's save this. Okay. Now, of course, now that its age is 4, we won't have any of those sequences, which is why I took the copy of it. So here's my copy, and we'll res it out, and it's going to start from the beginning at age 0. And after the first minute, it's going to grow in age. The timer will elapse, and it will check to make sure that the horns have grown. In fact, I might even want to give an extra few seconds after each check to make sure that the age has been met. because it's going to run through the aging sequence, the growth sequence, and we're going to want to give it enough time. Honestly, 63 would be fine. For this tutorial, he's already 30 seconds advanced since I started its age. So it's going to reset that timer and check for the age. So as you can see, he's grown. I am not setting the text on a regular basis. Let me make another noob mistake here. I'm going to fix that so that every 10 seconds it applies the text. And in all honesty, we could just keep the but as you can see, the first sequence has already occurred. Now that we're updating the text, and you can see that he's got the child, the horns and beard. So after he moves on to the next sequence into age 2, it will check again and apply the larger horn set. As you can see, now he has the adolescent horn set. And it is okay to call this successively, since age is 2. It's only going to keep setting the same thing every 15 or some odd seconds, which is completely fine. It won't affect anything based on its growth. However, I initially set it to 60 some odd seconds because I just I like to be more efficient. But we'll keep an eye on him for his last growth cycle. He'll receive the full beard and full horns, and just so that you can see that this does work in its entirety, and hopefully this inspires you to put a little effort into your breeds and to make something really cool with them. And there we have the final set where he's grown his full horns and beard, and at the age of 3. So get creative and do some pretty interesting things that you can show me and impress me with. I really do enjoy doing these tutorials, so if you have any kind of simulation you'd like to see run, just send me a message and I'd be happy to walk you through it.